Now we're going to take a look at our M95 collection. It's kind of expanded over the past year or two. Down here we have 4 long rifle versions and an assortment of carbine versions. And the ones on the end here are the shortened rifle versions. I think are the M95 31s or whatever. First, let's go over the caliber of these guns. The M95 was originally chambered for the 8x50 cartridge, which is this here. Then when they were converted, basically all they did was run a reamer up. You can see the cartridges side by side. You know, that the case is longer. They reamed out the chambers and just put a Spitzer bullet, a more modernized bullet on there. And when they did that to the rifles, they'll have either an S or an H on the barrel. And I'll show you that. And the one interesting thing is, those are the 2 cartridges, and this is the 8x56 rim here. These early cartridges, the Lebel and that, they worked a little bit different. Here's an original bullet. And you see there's like a little plug in the end there. Well, what would happen is when the cartridge went off, if you mic this bullet rides the inside of the bore. And when the cartridge went off, it drove that plug and expanded this base out. And this little base, that's where the neck of the case crimps in on this groove there, would expand out and ride the rifling. Okay, it's very unusual, it's different. You cannot get these bullets reproduced. That's how they worked. And it's something a little unusual. It was the way it was done back in the good old days. You know, and they tried modernizing the guns and upgrading them with a more modern cartridge. You see they extended the case a little. And it kind of worked and didn't work. So we'll go up. We got 2 of them that are in the original caliber. And another thing, I'll warn you right now. We'll get back to the ammo. I'm sorry about that. You can reload this cartridge, this 8x50. You can get formed brass from Buffalo Arms. It's about $1. It's close to $2 a case for this. You can get brass for the 8x50s, okay, the more common ones, the 8x56, I'm sorry. The 8x56, PPU makes it, and it's reasonable. It's about 45 cents a case. But to get the 8x50, the original caliber, it's about $2 to have these brass cases made, unless you make them, form them, and turn them and do them yourself. So if you're going to get an original chambered caliber gun and intend to shoot it, be prepared. You're going to have to A, load your own ammo, and B, it's going to be costly. Because I run into a person that had a carbine in the old 8x50 and he realized what it would cost to shoot it, and then he wanted to sell it pretty quick. So we'll go over here, and we got 2 rifles up here. 2 of these long rifles. First bunch of these 2 here are, these are in the original. What do we got? We got a Steyr. That doesn't have an S. 1915. This is still in the 8x50. And this one's been rebarreled. And that pretty much, you know, probably been used, might have been used in the Spanish Civil War. A lot of them went there. And actually shoots good. You know, the bore's not perfect on it. And I got another one that I picked up that is in the original caliber, but it's a little bit more beat up. It's been, you know, messed around with and beaten. It's another Steyr. It, you can't see, you know, it's matching. Most of the finish is gone. The wood's pretty good. Stock's a little cracked up there, but you know, again, the original 8x50. And the dealers will try to charge you a little more for the 8x50s because they are a little bit harder to find. You can find, now these here, these two here, that's a Budapest, and it has the S. And actually that's the one we, zoom in on it, we built up our sight on there. We went and shot that the other day and actually got this to where it's shooting right on. This is an 8x56 here. And I got another 8x56 here. I just picked this up recently. This is a Steyr. And it has the S on it. This one here I haven't worked with much yet. It was still packed in Cosmoline when I got it. And I got to do a little bit more work on it. But this one here I fired a few times and we got it to where it's hitting pretty good. Now we're coming down to our, oh, and then I put this one in here. This is the M95M. I did a few videos on that, answered some questions. This is what was modified in between the wars to 8mm. This rifle here, it's a very interesting gun. I've shot that a little bit. It's missing the magazine insert. I have a little more work to do on that, but I've done a few videos on this gun right here and used it. Now this carbine here is another one. Still in the original, there's no S. It's still in the original 8x50 rimmed. And I believe this is a police gun. It's a nice gun, mint bore, very nice condition. And if you notice on this variation here, right up in there, the front sight base is soldered right on to the barrel, as is the one next to it. And this one here. When you start getting into the other guns, you see the front sight base has a ring. These are the later model ones. So there's a variation in the front sight posts on these. Okay, this is a, where is it? It's the carbine. This is an original, short sights. Has the slings on the side and like the rifle. So it has dual sling positions. This one here, and this is converted to an S, so that's got the Austrian stamps on there. This here is 8x56, and again it has the sling mounts, short sight. I believe, yeah, that sling mount broke off. That's what it was. It has a broken sling mount. It should have a side sling mount and the ones here and there. It's an interesting little gun. Now this one here is another gun, short sights, S on the chamber, 8x56. Sling mounts on the side, and here now we're starting to run into where they plugged them up. This was probably either converted or whatever. You'll get all kinds of weird little variations in these carbines. Now this one here is an interesting one. This is the only one I have. I had some guns earlier, years ago. This has the H instead of the S for the Herzogewold, I think, conversion was what they used at the Budapest. And this one did have side mounts, but it's missing, one broke off. And it has the dual sling points, but it's got the upper one, but it's on the stock where that's filled in. And this gun too was used. This also has on the butt plate has a rack number. I think the either the Czechs or somebody. You'll see these guns like this with a serial number on the butt plate where they were issued. These were used up into the 50s, late 50s, by border police and different military units in Eastern Europe. And this one here is the last of my carbines. S conversion, short sights. That's a Steyr. Pretty nice shape. And now we get into what is called the M95 Slash 30 or 31. And these are distinguishable. They all got the long sights. Like these sights here are basically the rifle sights, just like these long rifles. Because these carbines, which were purpose-built carbines, all have these little short sights like this. So these three rifles right here were recent imports that are converted from long rifles and were converted into carbines at one point in time. They all have side mount slings, been refinished, and they also all have the stocks where the rifle style things were plugged up. So there's my collection there, three of those newer ones, and it's I've shot some of them. I haven't gotten out and really worked with all of them yet, but I think like with the Nagants, this is going to be my next project. I'm going to develop some good reloads for them, work on that, and check these guns out. They do shoot high mostly, but some of them, you will find some that are set right on at 100 yards. It depends who used them and if somebody tweaked them to shoot closer over the years, you know. So you'll get variances and everything. And most of these don't have real good bores, but you can still get them to shoot fairly well. They're a well-made gun. They're all made out of steel. You know, what it would cost you to have something like this manufactured today would be astronomical. They're a nice, solid old gun, pretty neat. It's straight bolt action. They're a sturdy rifle. They're just a fun gun to shoot. A little bit more on an expensive side than the Nagants, you know, because the ammunition's not available. And you have to have them in-block stripper clips with this gun. You got to get the clips to use this gun. You don't want to single load them because you'll snap the extractor off. You have to get one of these in-block clips. A lot of times you'll see the gun will have one with it. You can find them at gun shows or you can buy them online. You might have to pay, but you kind of need them. You should have at least one. You shouldn't fire these guns single shot without that clip. But that's a collection of where it stands. I'm going to be doing some work on this now. Probably this week I'm going to start sizing up brass and working on a cast bullet load for the 8x56. I will probably in the winter when time allows do some more work with the 8x50, but that's pretty expensive and time consuming. So there's a collection. Hope you enjoyed it.